Welcome to Building Texas with Justin McKenzie and Summer Bobberek. Sponsored by the Boerne Kendall County Economic Development Corporation and Das GreenHaus. And now, here's your host, Justin McKenzie.
I'm Justin McKenzie, host of Building Texas, where you will get to know the builders, creators, and entrepreneurs serving Boerne and Kendall County. Every week, you'll learn about what is being built so that you can see the vision, find helpful resources, and get involved. This week, we're sitting down with Dakota Durden, president and founder, or CEO and founder of GritCo. Dakota, thanks for spending some time with us. I look forward to understanding what GritCo is and how you're building Texas. But let's get to know Dakota.
I appreciate that, Justin. Thanks for having me on, and thanks for everybody that's involved with this podcast and radio station and radio broadcast so that we can, figure out how to build Texas and build Kendall County better. I'm a father, first and foremost. I've got some boys. They were actually going to come up here and watch, but luckily they stayed home to do something fun with their buddies, because I think they would have been on the microphone more than me. I am founder and CEO of GritCo. We've been in business for about 11 years. I'm sure we'll talk about them later. It's a wonderful company full of wonderful people. And I'm an avid supporter of maintaining the heritage and quality of life here in Kendall County and the Hill Country. And above all, I'm a Christian man, just trying to lead others to the cross.
So, Dakota, you're from the region, you're from the community. Where do you serve your time? Where, beyond Grit, where do you get involved locally, and how do you help influence that heritage and culture in Kendall County?
Yeah, so super blessed to have my kids at a wonderful school named Geneva here in Boerne. And I spent quite a bit of time there doing some volunteer work for the kiddos. I also attend Curry Creek here in Boerne, Texas, which is a fantastic church, and encourage others to go to. And I'm on the safety team there and do some other fun things with the boys there. I do love coaching. I've been coaching Little League for almost 11 years now, and flag football as well, kind of intermittently. So I really love being with the kiddos, whether they're, 4 all the way up to 12 or so. I'm not going to lie, I think I'm done with the T-ballers for a while, hopefully. But I do love coaching. And then, from time to time, I help out with things like the Wild Game Dinner. I'm a board member for the EDC here, Boerne Kendall County EDC. And just wherever I can really contribute to the community here.
So let's talk about your path to the community, and it really starts. You're from Comfort, as I understand.
Born and raised, that's right. Well, I wasn't born in Comfort, because you can't be born in Comfort unless you're born in the home. I was born in Kerrville, Texas, and shortly delivered to Comfort. But I spent my whole life there, growing up in town until I was about 14, and then moving out to my grandparents' ranch there. To spend my high school years. Went to school at Texas A&M, the university. And, when I got done there, decided I was going to come back to San Antonio. San Antonio is one of those big cities with a small town feel, and you really got to have some roots. And I wanted to get started on that early. But the end game and the end goal was always to be back fully, business and personally, here in Kendall County, where my family ranch is and where I grew up. And so, after about 5 years in San Antonio growing business, I uprooted that headquarters and moved it out here to Boerne, which was an awesome thing. And I was a little bit scared about it at first, but as anybody would be, but we did it, and it was successful, and we're happy to be here. So I live out the ranch. My cousin Becca and my parents and I, we call it the family commune compound, but back here in Kendall County, loving it.
So you serving on the EDC board, this is a conversation that we're having actively, and it's people like myself, like you, who were raised and grew up in the community, left, and then came back. We call that Boomerang talent, and it's really an opportunity that we have in the Hill Country to say, yes, you can build your company here. And that's a big proponent of when we talk about building Texas and how do you do it locally and have the regional impact. Your story takes you back to San Antonio in a path to the Hill Country. What really made that jump, and how is your business received in Kendall County and known in Kendall County? Because I think that's one of the concerns for Boomerang talent today, kids graduating high school today. What can I do? How can I get back to my family ranch, my family roots, if there's not an opportunity?
Yeah, well, there is opportunity. You personally, as well as the BKC, EDC, and City of Boerne and County and everybody else have been pretty adamant with the founding and growth of GreenHaus, which is a good organization to start fostering new companies. And that kind of is an indicator, I think, for a lot of people to see that the people here are serious about that Boomerang talent or even just new talent coming in. But what I can tell you is, I think the ecosystem is changing so quickly in Kendall County that it's sometimes hard for people to keep up with, but there are really no bad things going on here. We have a huge amount of personal capital in the county, people willing to pitch in on startup businesses through things like the Angel Network, which you're a champion for that as well. And really just we need people that are going to keep their eyes open and their ears open. If you're from here, I think you're going to quickly see and hear of ways to make your business work. There's an awful lot of openings for diverse different types of businesses to come to Kendall County. Personally, I started in San Antonio because as a designer and contractor, there's just so much work there to go get. And I will tell you, I was a bit nervous coming out to Kendall County. That was kind of the biggest thing was, well, I'm doing healthcare systems and working for oil and gas companies, and I'm doing all these things. What can, Boerne, Texas, and Comfort, Texas, and Waring, Texas, and Sisterdale, what is Kendall County going to have for me? And when I got here, I realized a couple things. One, people want to be here. My employees want to be here. And two is it's so much more peaceful out here that I can focus on my business. My kids are happy. I can spend more time with my family, and I can do business at the same time. And ultimately, I feel like I made a really good choice coming here with my commercial business and my residential business. I do both because the growth is going to foster growth for me. So there's a lot of people coming here to Kendall County. And then inversely, I really hope that we get more Boomerang talent because I don't want Kendall County to change too much. It's a wonderful place, and I think that the people that grew up here, I really want them to come back and foster the heritage and the quality of life that we know growing up and create their businesses here and champion that. So
we're sitting down with Dakota Durden, CEO and founder of GritCo here in Kendall County. We're excited to have you on Building Texas on Boerne Radio 103.9 FM and talking about your journey of being from here, growing and raising yourself here, raising your family here, and then coming back to the town. Now, you're talking about growth being good for your business, but I also know that you're really invested in how do we grow strategically and in a planned way. Now, you have been here a long time. Your family's been very involved in infrastructure conversations for generations now. What does that mean? Like, how do you have growth and balance and really keep that charm? Because that's what I think the challenge our region faces today is rapid growth that the state is spearheading. Yeah. They're out there advertising, move to Texas, business friendly. Here's where and then everybody wants to move here, the hill country, because it's the best part of Texas. Yeah. So how do you find that balance?
So that's a super diverse answer question. You're right. So I'm incredibly blessed. My mother was a teacher growing up in Comfort, and I got to see how the school system works and doesn't work, and I also got to see how that impacted other people and when they grew up, where that went. My father grew one of the best and largest civil engineering firms in San Antonio. He was a champion with the state legislature, with the Greater San Antonio Chamber of Commerce, eventually moving into retirement, becoming a commissioner for Precinct 4 here in Kendall County. I think a lot of people were pleased with his performance and how he protected our county and championed healthy growth and development. His insight is always special to me when this question comes up because he's a civil guy. So transportation and infrastructure weighs in incredibly heavy on these conversations. And I understand that those are also very volatile questions and answers. People don't want to lose their private property in Texas to highways and pipelines and infrastructure. And I understand that. What I would ask is that if people like me who grew up here, multi-generational people, can start to understand that if we're smart about the development of infrastructure and transportation and we make some small sacrifices together, then we can create a community in a county and surrounding counties that remain beautiful, that remain healthy, that have good water levels for years to come. Champion ecosystem projects instead of just flat, government funded, government driven specifications on projects. Things that we can do to beautify the hill country and to keep it well, and then preserve the heritage and quality of life here. So that infrastructure is a huge part of it. Personally, as a builder and designer myself, I also want to really ask the community to be vigilant, understanding the builders and developers and designers and politicians and leaders of our community all throughout the county in all different aspects. Find those people that care about the development here. Let's, look, there's only so much we can do. Okay, like the city of Boerne is going to have the state of Texas to answer to, so as well as the county. And people should understand and come together with an open mind that there are some things we can prevent and some things we can't. There are some things we can do and some things we can't. But look, let's coordinate together. Let's cooperate. Let's get together. Let's elect leaders that care about our community. And then let's go find private businessmen as well that really, truly care more about the quality of life and the heritage here than just the bottom line. Everybody's got to get paid, and we know that. Everybody has to make a living here. We've got to protect the county to our utmost ability, and that falls on everybody's shoulders. And I hope that people start thinking that way in this county.
We're sitting down with Dakota Durden, the CEO and founder of GritCo, here today on Building Texas, 103.9 FM Boerne Radio. Coming back from the break, we're going to ask a few more questions about holding on to that heritage and how to develop and build a future here in the Hill Country. This is Justin McKenzie from Building Texas. Today's segment is brought to you by Das GreenHaus. Das GreenHaus is a business incubator launched here in Boerne to serve our local community. Das GreenHaus is a place where you can come to grow your idea. Our goal is to make Boerne accessible to people who are looking to grow a business, expand a business, or learn more about what's out there in their community and get involved. Visit us at dasgreenhaus.org or come visit us at 7 Upper Balcones Road, Boerne, Texas. Das GreenHaus. Welcome back from the break. This is Justin McKenzie with Building Texas on Boerne Radio 103.9 FM. We're here with Dakota Durden today, the CEO and founder of GritCo. We're going to talk more about GritCo in a minute, but I want to finish the thought from before the break. So as we're talking about expansion, and Comfort's an interesting part of our region because it's unincorporated Comfort. It does not have a city government, meaning it doesn't have city business, city taxes, city budgets. It all falls back into the county. And so when you build in what a lot of people think is a city like Comfort, it comes with different challenges and different opinions and a lot fewer mechanisms and processes to limit you or to protect that heritage. Because you can have two very different properties right next to each other quickly.
Oh, it's precarious.
So when we look at that, and then I put it up against, City of Boerne had 9% voter turnout for the mayoral election. To me, that's shameful. That's people not involved, not engaged. Where do we do that? When you tell people to go find those people that represent their opinion, represent their way of growing, what does that look like? Because we have friends and people that we do life with that sit on planning and zoning, that sit on commissioner's court, that are influential in this. But how do I, as a new person in the community, find them, understand where to get involved?
Those are all excellent points. So yes, Comfort is a census designated place. It has a name and it has a sign with a number on it, and it is not a town. There is no government. It's a precarious thing. We live in a place, and thank God we do, that believes in, for the most part, small government. But I think that we're coming to the point in development and growth here in Kendall County. People need to really start getting involved on the individual level and do so intentionally. I think historically a lot of people want to voice their opinions and shun government and shun those things. And and that's fine. But understand that there's a bit of a double-edged sword here. Okay, so kind of like you just mentioned, in the broader county, we still have state restrictions, county restrictions, certain things that we have to develop and build around. But without formal assembly of some kind, then we have a risk that we're taking, where we might have 500,000 square feet of warehouse pop up next to a neighborhood, or a gravel plant on a beautiful river frontage. Not that we don't need those things, we just need to do so smartly. Right. So it's a difficult position. And for me, what it comes down to is how, you ask the question, who do we talk to? How do we get this resolved? How do we continue this process and maybe not make everyone happy, but let's do this well. Well, the individual accountability is where that starts. And I hope that individuals in the county will start to say, look, I am passionate about this particular item, and I'm going to come to the table and I'm going to talk about that, but I'm going to do so with respect. I'm going to do so understanding there's another side here. And there's probably some other things that I don't understand as well. Just like the developers coming to this place may not understand the other side of the table from them. There's a huge portion of the county that functions in agriculture and farming and ranching, tourism, a little bit of energy production, manufacturing, hospitality. I mean, there are a lot of industries in Kendall County. And it's important that we all work together to try to figure that out.
So let's jump into Grit, because I love your new office. I walked through there the other day, and I think it's probably one of the coolest office buildings in the area. But what does Grit do? You've said you have a commercial business, a residential business. I know you have a wide variety of offerings, but how do you explain it to people?
So the elevator pitch. So the elevator pitch is GritCo is a diverse company that designs and builds just about anything you can think of. And I mean that truly and sincerely. We love thinking and coming up with solutions. So we have 4 divisions. One of them is called Builders. It's a commercially focused division, and we work in a diverse amount of industry, from healthcare to retail to manufacturing.
What would you be doing? Would you be building or designing?
Designing and building. So like we've designed and built a liver transplant clinic in Methodist Hospital. We also built the personal warehouse development out on Highway 46. We're doing our legacy project this year is a wine tasting room in High, Texas, outside of Johnson City. So we just love designing and building. If it's something that's not cookie cutter, come talk to us. We also have a residential division we call homesteads. We do super custom and luxury homes, anything from about $350 a square foot up, which these days is hard to get below that anyways. Yeah. We also have a millworks division because we got tired of trying to do super custom and not have the ability to push cabinets and tables and furnishings into the space that really came and made it pop like the rest of the design that we put together did. And then finally, there's a creative division that focuses on design support for the other divisions and even does a little bit of marketing, branding.
So when you look at a business like that, it's diverse, but in the same vein, you're really building and creating new spaces. How do you go out and advertise it? And do you see that Kendall County, the Hill Country, being your focus and where you're going to grow your business? Or, I mean, High is an hour and a half from here.
Yeah, it's about an hour out to High. So our focus on our region is anywhere within about a 200-mile radius. We don't like to go out that far, but we will, depending on maybe it's a repeat client or just a project that really speaks to us. Our furthest project at the moment, I believe, is Marble Falls. We're going to be doing a church addition out there with one of our architect friends from Fredericksburg. And, our focus is the Hill Country, Boerne, Kendall County. We have an awful lot of work in San Antonio and the surrounding counties to Kendall County. But, the hope is that we can be the roots here of the Hill Country and really develop and build and design things that are quality and that will last forever in a human sense, and then and really just support the quality of this place that we live in.
We've had a leader in our city over the last few years that became pretty famous for saying, if you don't want somebody to build something, go buy the land and you can do what you want with the land. His point was always, Texas is a property rights state.
That's true.
And you can do a lot as the landowner on your land. Mm-hmm. So we've talked today, sitting here with Dakota Durden from GritCo. We're talking about how to maintain a heritage while still building for growth in the future. If you were talking to a landowner, let's say someone who has 100 acres with highway frontage, really a nice plot to develop, but they want to hold on to heritage. How do you find in that instance of a singular property owner, what would you encourage them to think about and make a decision about what's the best use of that?
Yeah.
Maybe they split it and some of it's commercial, some of it's, my fear is that with Boomerang talent, they're coming back to their family land. How do I produce on it now without building a subdivision?
Yeah. Yeah. So look, community coming together, working with your fellow man. I mean, the EDC that I sit as a secretary on the board right now, fantastic group of people coming together, just trying to do good things for the county and with the county and the city of Boerne. Go talk to your neighbors, figure out what's going to fit with the demographic, figure out what's going to fit with the topography of your land. But when it comes, so those are things I think that work for working as a community to build this community. Let's work as a community to build the community. But there's some other things too that you can look at to preserve the heritage and quality of life here. I think there was a pretty big stink made about a development recently here in Boerne that cleared a bunch of oak trees. And look, there's certain limitations. I was not a part of that project, but there's certain limitations that the city and other people have. Like you said, it's private ownership here in Texas. So there can be some enforcement of fees, of tree mitigation, of whatever, but there's only so much that we can do. And, what it comes down to sometimes is just how much people are willing to hurt the environment. And for me, tree preservation is a huge deal, especially with oak wilt that has ravaged the hill country here, with the water situations changing rapidly, just kind of how things are going. So I would encourage the community to get together to build itself. So work with your community to do it. And I would encourage you individuals to talk to someone like GritCo or another designer or engineer that has a focus and a true focus on quality and heritage and preservation, because you can't go get those 300-year oak trees back, guys. Like, we can move a building 5 feet. We can put an island in a parking lot. We can figure this out, right? We can work the numbers on your business model to make this work, but let's not level every hill in the hill country to do development here. So that's kind of my speech.
I always appreciate when I see developers that can hold the trees and hold the land to almost a natural landscape. And then you see them next to a clear-cut development, and it's hard to balance. Joined by Dakota Durden, CEO and founder of GritCo. We appreciate you spending time with us. We're excited about how you're building Texas. Final thoughts, really want to understand what's a project you're working on right now that you want people to know about.
Thanks. Really just thank you guys for having me on. This is really an opportunity for me to get up on the soapbox and talk about preserving this county and really helping it grow well. GritCo wants to do that with people here that are serious about it. You want to see some of our work? We got a designed project going up on Fry Street. We're about to demolish 2 places on Hickman and Phil Wilson in Boerne and put up a beautiful home for an established family here that's done a lot of good in this community. We have a fantastic tasting room with a wine tasting room with a beautiful design currently going up in High, Texas. We look forward to anybody coming out there to check it out. It's a couple driveways down from Untamed Winery right on 290 there. We've done some historic work in downtown Fredericksburg as well. I mean, we have a lot of places you can go see our work, but final thoughts, guys. I just hope and pray every day that we can maintain the quality and preserve the heritage that this community started with back in the early 1800s, because that's what I grew up on. The Boomerang talent loves it. More people love it. They're moving here, but let's all work together as a community to figure out how to preserve that and do it right, do it well.
And I'm sure your parents love having grandkids locally.
Yes, they do. Yeah. And look, I love having my grandparents locally.
Yeah, that helps too.
Yeah. I mean, they go over there often when I got to do some business things or I need a babysitter or whatever, but look, it goes so much deeper than that, guys. Let's build this so that people can be family again, right? I mean, when you have grandparents or great-grandparents passing down those character traits to your kids, you are getting so far ahead of what much of the world or much of America can and is doing right now. Let's come together. Let's stop the polarization.
Well, if you're getting ready to do a project in the region, in the Hill Country, I'd highly recommend reaching out to Dakota, getting to know the team at GritCo, and hearing how they want to build your Texas. As we talk about the local engagement, the local impact, Dakota, I appreciate all the work that you do in serving the community at large, and I appreciate your conversation. Thank you for building Texas.
Thank you, Justin. Thank you very much.
This is Boerne Radio 103.9 FM. You're listening to Building Texas. We're here with Dakota Durden. Have a great day. This is Justin McKenzie from Building Texas. Today's segment is brought to you by Das GreenHaus. Das GreenHaus is a business incubator launched here in Boerne to serve our local community. Das GreenHaus is a place where you can come to grow your idea. Our goal is to make Boerne accessible to people who are looking to grow a business, expand a business, or learn more about what's out there in their community and get involved. Visit us at dasgreenhaus.org or come visit us at 7 Upper Balcones Road, Boerne, Texas. Das GreenHaus.
Boerne Radio 103.9 FM. Now let's head over to the Patrick Heath Public Library with Miss Constance for Children's Story Time. As the Patrick Heath Library is open today from 10 to 4, this is Boerne Radio.